And now on to question 7. Let's get right into it. We've got f of x is 3 minus 2x squared, right? And they want us to differentiate from first principles. Now, ladies and gents, we'll try to be as quick as possible on this. So we know that f prime x will always be limit as h tends to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. So which means that initially, please do not get rid of this expression limit as h tends to 0 until you substitute for h is equal to 0. Right, so now we're going to say this is 3 minus 2 times, okay, x plus h squared minus, remember we've got 3 minus 2x squared, right, in our expression. So this is divided by h. So this will give us limit as h tends to 0. So we've got 3 minus, this is 2 into x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. This is minus 3 plus 2x squared. Right, so if we divide by h there, so again we've got limit as h tends to 0. So we've got 3 minus 2x squared minus 4xh minus 2h squared, right? That's minus 3 plus 2x squared. Divide that by h. Right, so see that 3 and negative 3 cancel. The negative 2x squared with the positive 2x squared cancel out. And so we can now take out h as a common factor. So this is limit as h tends to 0. Right, so if we take out h, that's going to be minus 4x. That's minus 2h. Okay, and that's divided by h. Right, we can cancel that out. And so if we substitute h, we are left with negative 4x if we substitute h is equal to 0. Right, so f prime x is actually going to be equal to negative 4x. And that's exactly what we're anticipating. Right, so let's go into the next question. So they say we need to evaluate the gradient, which means dy dx, okay, if y is equal to minus 1 over x plus root of x. Right, so we've got y is equal to 1 over x plus the square root of x. Now that's 7.2.1. Okay, so just so that we are clear. Right, so firstly we need to get rid of x in the denominator. We need to get rid of surds before we start finding the to differentiate. So this is going to be, that's x to the power of minus 1, right, according to the exponential law, plus this is x to the power 1 over 2. So remember that a surd, in this case, square root, has got a 2 there, and it is raised to the exponent 1. So that becomes the denominator and the 1, the numerator. Right, so now we are ready. So dy dx would be equal to negative x, right? So remember, negative 1 times 1 would be negative 1. So remember the minus 1. So that's minus 2 plus, this is going to be a half x, right? If I say minus 1 there, that becomes x to the minus raised to the power minus 1 over 2. Right. We can still simplify that if we want to. Okay. If we want to express it as positive exponents, so this will be x over minus 1 over x squared, and this is plus 1 over 2 x to the power 1 over 2, or you can say 1 over 2 square root of x. So that is really how the cookie crumbles on this question. Right, and let's go for 7.2.2. Okay, right, and it seems we made a little bit of an error there. That was minus 1 over, so that was negative over there, which will actually change the sign. So that will be positive. Okay, right, because it will be the negative 1 times the negative. Okay, so I do apologize about that, but I do hope that you still get the message. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So we're finding the derivative with respect to x. 8 minus 3x to the power 6. Okay, so derivative with respect to x. 8 minus 3x6 and this is divided by 8x to the power of 5. Right, once again, ladies and gents, we can only start differentiating once we have gotten rid of what is in the denominator there. Okay, so we've got 8 over 8x to the power 5 minus 3x to the power 6 divided by 8x to the power 5. Right, so let's get into it. So the 8 and the 8 cancel. So I've got 1 over x to the power 5, but we can write this as x to the power minus 5. Right, so that's minus 3 over 8. Now note x to the power 5, right, we are going to subtract 5 there, and we'll be left with 1. So this is 3 over 8x, right, to the power 1, or we can just say 3 over 8x. Right, so now we're ready to find the derivative. So this is going to be equal to negative 5x to the power minus 6, okay, minus 3 over 8. Right, and that is simply how the cookie crumbles. Or we can say this is minus 5 over x to the power 6 minus 3 over 8. Right, and that's really it when it comes to differentiating there. Right, and which brings us to the end of this question. Right, I hope that you were able to understand, and as we go into the next section,